TFI Family Services, child and family benefit. We're the privatization of social welfare for the families. We're responsible for adoption, for foster care, foster families, as well as supervised visitations and actions like that through the courts. So we provide all of that. We're a contractor for state agencies to provide those services, as well as private entities to provide other support type for kids of special needs. Working with AOS for TFI started as I started with TFI. We brought AOS in to be a partner with us to help develop and change the environment at TFI when it comes to not only our email but also services for file services, phone, and pretty much all the electronic services that we have in the agency. One of the big pushes was to update the email system and the file system as well. Those had become rather antiquated. We chose to look at the Microsoft solution due to our status with Microsoft pricing. In order to be able to facilitate this, we knew we didn't have the talent in-house to cover our extended geographic locations, as well as the more modern technology. So in working with the AOS consultant, we determined that it was best to bring AOS services in to assist with that. In order to accomplish this in the time frame that we had, we needed to supplement our staff with AOS assistance. We were able to accomplish all of this in a very short order. We moved the entire agency from a competing software that was, again, 5-6 years old to the current versions, current releases of all the Microsoft products wrapped around email, as well as the file services that we were able to get a migration done in short order. In choosing Microsoft, we made this decision based on a couple of reasons, and the primary one being the state agencies that we support or contracted with also have this product in-house. Microsoft, being the market share leader in email and file services, just made a lot of sense. With our pricing standpoint as a nonprofit company, that sealed the deal for us. So going ahead and doing this was exactly what we needed to do. It's what we need to do as an agency, and AOS was able to help us deliver that in a timely fashion and keep that cost level to where we could continue to provide our services at the least possible cost. By migrating to the Microsoft email system, we've been able to get on a similar platform as other agencies. We've been able to bring in their link, which has enabled us to do federated communication with other providers. So we have a more readily available communication with the different groups. We're able to start looking now at shared file systems and shared data, which again, we lose the paper issue. We cut down the paper cost, the paper transportation, and the human dollars that are spent around the paper product. We're able to share all of this with technology and speed things up, which in turn enables everybody to provide the services quicker and cheaper. Partnering with AOS became a decision that we decided to engage upon based on our experience with both local and regional providers, and talking with all of them and understanding what AOS could bring to the table is, albeit on the surface maybe not the cheapest consulting group, you get what you pay for, and in the long run they become the cheapest or a cheaper solution simply because they have the best folks that we've worked with in a very long time. So things happen quickly. Even though the hourly rate's not the least, overall you spend less money because you get it done right the first time. Throughout our engagement with AOS, it all began with the sales team that came in, introductions, talked through our business needs. We figured out together collectively what we were going to need, how we needed to be successful. From there, it was handed off to a group of design architects. Again, a lot of interaction between the AOS staff and ours. It really, to me, felt like a team effort. They were an extension of my team of technicians to make things work for us as an agency. Once that was done, the project manager was brought in. She did a wonderful job of keeping everybody on task. I really almost feel like she worked for me as much as she did for AOS. It was just incredibly successful because of that, because of the relationship. They take the time to understand what we need, how we need to do it, and what our negatives as well as positives in the environment are going to be, being aware of other activities within the agency. the technicians that come in, they take the time to spend the time with my technicians, with our team, understand what we have going on, and train them up. They're not secretive about what they do. They work very hard with our guys so we can have that one-on-one conversation and nobody's talking over anybody's head. It's very beneficial as a company to get that and get that cross-training from the technical team as we go through it. And overall, that's why we were successful in the short amount of time we had for the project. We were able to do so much. In choosing the Microsoft products, one of the biggest advantages to us was the integration of all the Microsoft products. We got the whole suite as Microsoft presents it to you. The interoperability between their various packages, when in bringing in Exchange and Outlook, while providing us with good solid email, the next step was to go to the voice over IP solution and bringing in Link. By adding Link into our solution, now it gives us point of presence. It provides us with the opportunity to have voicemail, phone system, and email all together in one client for retrieval, for combining these as far as documentation for various things if you have a recorded voicemail session or a recorded session. This was very important to us, again, making us more efficient and also enabling us to be away from paper, lose the paper intensity of current practices within the field that we're in. We had to justify this a couple of ways. One was the need for the change, and that was pretty well dictated to us by the business group, by the culture that we're in. We needed to get everything refreshed to where email worked better, to where the file services were there, to where we could get backups and things successfully. That was pretty much handed to us. As far as making a change and going to the outside consulting group, when we sat down internally and looked at the hours and the job knowledge that was going to have to be there, it made the most sense to engage with somebody for consulting. And then reviewing and talking to other peer groups, AOS clearly came out on top just from the fact that their reputation superseded them as being the group to work with, and they are a local group, which was very, very important to us as well. If we chose not to implement this solution or to draw it out and delay it out, the first thing that would have been severely impacted would be our ability to get ready for the next round of contracts, whether it be with the state or another agency that would want to contract with us if we were unable to successfully communicate with them. This whole effort is around modernizing the back end of the company, making sure their file systems, their email, and eventually their voice over system is in place and working so we can grow. One of the issues with child services and privatization is the fact that it's usually here's your contract, it's awarded to you, now you need to be in place in a very, very short time, somewhere in the 30 to 90 day range. By contracting with AOS and establishing the policies and practices that we have, not only physically but the documentation, we can basically take a cookie cutter approach to it and produce another office in another region, another area, or another state in short order. In order to declare success with this project, we had to basically get everything moved over with minimal impact to the user. They really needed to feel like there was no change other than some pretties on the surface. We needed to be able to deliver the email in such a way that the users of the company would be able to continue doing business with very, very little downtime during the conversion. We are talking about a group that supports people's lives, and albeit not often is it life-threatening, it is life-impacting. So we had to keep that impact to a minimum to those users. In choosing AOS and distinguishing them amongst the other competitors, one was being a group that was local to the Midwest. The other big factor that came into play for us was their partnership with the providers, with whether it be the Microsofts or the EMCs or the other groups out there that are brought in. AOS has very solid relationships with the vendors, and by bringing that together and being our point to go to those vendors, it provided us with fewer contacts, which is a benefit to us being a smaller group. They were our go-to shop.